This week's One Door Studios update. One Door Studios is going to be at Los Angeles Comic-Con this December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That and a bunch of other news coming right up. Welcome, everybody, to this week's One Door Studios update. And, we just keep messing things up. I mean, last week it was John, Jay, and Thomas. Now it's me, Thomas, and John. We just can't seem to get it straight. Jason's on a meeting right now, so he could be here. So I think, we'll bring Thomas on. And I'm finally back from my 2-week excursion on a bus tour. We're filming a documentary called Americans with No Address. I was directing that documentary. And we went to 17 major U.S. cities to investigate the homeless situation, what's causing it, who's working on it, what are the policies, et cetera, because we want to find a solution to the homelessness crisis.
Did you find it? Did you find the solution? Were you able to share it with the mayors and the governors and the hoi polloi that you were cavorting with while you were gone?
Well, I mean, truthfully, I think the solutions were found in some of the organizations that are already working on homelessness in those cities. Like Baltimore, for example, there's a huge organization there that brings in homeless people, and then they give them responsibilities. They help them get off, addictions. They give them tasks to do. They help make appointments for jobs. And people are really completely turning around and going from homelessness to completely back integrated into society again. I met some people that had been homeless for 20 years who you would never know it because they lived in the street in tents for 20 years and then were able to get off the street through some of these organizations. So I think the work is really being done by the small organizations, not by the government. The government, you'll learn about it when you see the documentary called Americans with No Address, hopefully coming out later next year, excuse me. On to One Door Studio stuff. Calculated update. Man, we had some of the most, I was gone for 2 weeks, but some of the news these guys told me when I came back was so encouraging. Number one was Ann Peacock sent a message to our development director. Who wants to tell our investors what she said?
Thomas.
Oh,
Thomas, you do
each other.
She was not only really, like we shared before, receptive to all of the notes that we gave her and just excited to get back into the second draft for Calculated. But she confirmed that she had read the other books in the series that have been released, specifically Simulated, and she loves it. And she's interested in staying on and continuing to be a part of those projects. So that was really exciting to hear.
That's amazing because we had said before, since we have Ann as a writer on Calculated, we likely won't have to look for a writer for Simulated, but we didn't know if she'd even be interested in continuing, and she really expressed an interest. So what that means for us is, you may remember on Calculated, it took us 8 grueling months to find a writer. Talk about a setback. But that scenario will likely not happen when the sequels go fully into development, because we already have an amazing writer with us. Oh, real quick, I wanted to do this early in the update. Let you know, we're going to be at Comic-Con on December 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 3rd, 4th, 5th in LA.
2nd through the 4th.
Okay, Comic-Con in LA, 2nd through the 4th, December, just a couple weeks from now. And Nova McBee is going to be there with us. She's going to be signing books. We're going to be having some competitions and stuff. It's going to be a fun time. We have a corner booth, and we'd love to see you guys there if you want to meet. Who wants to meet us? Who cares? You guys want to meet Nova, I'm sure.
Are you going to be there, Thomas?
I am, yeah. And I didn't even tell. Actually, Steve and I are going to share a hotel room. That should be fun.
Oh, boy. Well, what do I know?
But I didn't even tell Steven this yet, but I talked to one of the reps at Comic-Con just to make sure we were all set up and everything. And I shared with him our idea for our booth. And he said, that sounds awesome. He was actually really excited about our idea and said that, because the plan is to get some interaction with the people there and maybe some posting to social media and stuff like that. And he just said it was a really, really great idea. So if you want to see what it is and you're in the LA area, you should try to make it out because it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the theme kind of is, because, at Comic-Con, everybody dresses up. And so the theme is, you can dress up, but can you act? So that's going to be the you can kind of guess what we might do with that. But moving on to sequels. We had all these roadblocks with getting the reggae up. The site was launched, but the backend was terrible, and so we switched the back end. So we had to file an addendum, or what do you call it?
Amendment.
I had to file an amendment with the SEC, which we thought would take about a week but then they decided to give us a full review, and oh my gosh. Anyway, the good news is the SEC has sent us a couple of questions. I think they sent them yesterday, and they're very simple questions. So what has to happen now is we respond to those questions, or our attorney responds to those questions, and then they continue the review process. But the good thing is that the questions were simple. They weren't like complicated questions. So we're not going to give you a projected date of launch, because every time we do that, we're wrong. It's because it's often not in our hands. So, but it will be soon enough. That the reggae will be finally live on Sequels and on our website. Okay,
more to come.
More to come.
Next update.
Firing away here. Our website also has the store coming soon. Lots of merch. Here's the store is built, but there's no cart right now, so you can't buy anything yet. Just a couple of things to tweak on it. You see all this really cool merch here: the hats, the sweatshirts, the PSS sweatshirts, even a phone case. Anyway, we can modify that or run that. But okay, so that's coming soon on our website. Last up, we have MyStream.
MyStream's last? It should have been first. What?
Okay, let's reverse the whole video and start again.
No. This is good.
MyStream. We did the Indiegogo raise. Basically, we wanted to kind of test the waters and see the interest. If we were just basically selling future subscriptions to a company that hasn't, for a service that hasn't even been fully developed yet. And it had an amazing response. We raised $111,000 in a little over a month. And that was no equity. That was just selling subscriptions. Those who did $500, when MyStream comes out, gets a lifetime subscription to MyStream. But now on wefunder.com/MyStream, that's spelled MYSTREME. We've opened up the WeFunder for investments, so you can get equity in the company. As of right now, it says terms haven't been decided yet. So obviously,
what?
Yeah, it's coming in the next day or
really?
two. So
we're on the site. We haven't even thought about the terms yet.
No, we have thought about the terms. They haven't been finalized. So obviously, if you probably don't want to invest without knowing terms. Some people have already, but the terms will be up in a couple of days.
It's just qualifying hoops on WeFunder. So we've known the terms for a long time, but they have to be put in on the site in a certain way. They're going in, and they should be up in the next. What do you think, Thomas? Next 2-3 days, by first of next week, anyway.
We brought in our securities attorneys to help us, get those exactly right in the way that WeFunder wants to see them, like you said. And they were pretty clear that they'd be finished with those by this week. So yeah, I'd imagine they'd be up at least by Monday or Tuesday.
If you're wondering what in the world MyStream is, kind of our tagline is MyStream is the way streaming was meant to be. If you're tired of all the different services and you can't figure out where to find the stuff you want to watch, you spend more time searching for stuff than you do watching stuff. That's where MyStream comes in. We have a couple of awesome CEOs. Chuck Hasek, who was the president of video technologies at T-Mobile, as well as Robert Gim, international business. His credentials are a mile long. So, and the upside to this, the potential upside to MyStream is incredible. It's like it's as if Spotify or Tesla didn't exist, and here's the opportunity that we're trying to create this company that will really potentially dominate the streaming industry. Of course,
so much consumer demand for it, and it's filling that void. The first one up. Well, you could argue AOL was the first one up for email. And yet when Gmail came along, because they fill the void sort of, but it wasn't quite as satisfying as it should have been. And the avalanche of support for Gmail was just amazing. Same thing with Tesla. But this is filling that kind of void. So it has a huge upside, this company does. It has 3 different rounds.
And every round, the previous round is always better than the next one as far as your ability for value, and equity in the company. So this first round is a very small one at $1 million on.
Yeah, it's only available for 3 months.
Yeah,
but no rush on that. I mean, you're ready when you're ready as an investor.
Yeah.
But if you can get in on the early rounds, like that one, or the next one is a $75 million round, and that will be open for 6 months.
Not on WeFunder, because WeFunder's limit is 5.
That's a Reg A round, and that opens, I think, in February. But the earlier you can get in, the much better it will be as far as what you get for your investment. I mean, you may only invest what you're going to invest, but that amount will be much more beneficial your first round by about 10 times, I believe, than the second one, which will be more beneficial than the final 1 billion round. Which is the last one to go.
So why is it so important? Is because One Door Studios is creating content, like Calculated, Simulated, Activated, Liberated, and Cyrus and Messiah. But this other arm is a distribution arm, and people say, well, how can you guys pull all this off? Well, that's why it's not just us. We have other teams and new CEOs for these new companies. So it's not us, the 3 of us on here, or missing Jason today, doing this. So get on. WeFunder.com/MyStream, MYSTREME, and reserve your spot for this one. Of course, wait till it says the terms so you can read the terms. You obviously want to read them. So, guys, I think that's all we have for today, right? Am I missing anything?
No, I think you've got it.
Yeah, and Jay will be back with us again. We're not filming a video next week because it's Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not working on Thanksgiving Day. I'm just stuffing my face full of turkey and stuffing and stuff like that. That's
take a nap, Stephen.
Take a nap. Yeah.
Hey, go see a movie over Thanksgiving. Spielberg has a new movie out. Ron Howard has a new movie out.
The Fablemans.
Has a new movie.
Steven Spielberg, The Fablemans, and then I don't know anything about that movie. The 8.3 stars. It's
kind of about Spielberg because it's about a boy filmmaker and his family and the experiences that happen. But it is really remarkable. It has a 8.3 audience rating from the sneaks. So it's bound to be a pleaser.
And I know it's a little old, but I just saw Elvis for the first time on a plane, flying back.
You saw Elvis on a plane?
I saw the movie Elvis.
The movie
while I was on the plane. Okay. And my gosh, if you haven't seen that yet, the edit. I mean, I was watching it for the sake of the edit, and the edit was just amazing. And something to aspire to as far as
it's Baz Luhrmann, the filmmaker. He owns the picture from first frame to last. It really is.
It's just so
depressing topic a little bit, but the music is wonderful, and the filmmaking is just like Stephen said. It's awesome.
Oh. All right, guys, that's all for this week. We'll see you again. We might give you a text update next week. I'm not going to do a video because we need to spend some time with our families and our little kiddos. So you guys have a great Thanksgiving holiday week, and we'll see you again real soon.